All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Kakushigoto, episode 1.
New show.
New show. I picked this one. I'm very excited to get into it. I know a little bit about it, and then apparently it has an awesome father-daughter relationship and everything.
Sweet.
And apparently it piddle-paddles between comedy and really sad. So
sad.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, that sounds right up my alley. Let's do this.
Okay.
I have a very special place in my heart for father-daughter relationships and stories, whether actual father-daughter or pseudo father-daughter. And I feel like anime doesn't get into those too much.
I feel like in general storytelling does have those few ones out there that are like that. But anime, at least from what you've told me, has some really sweet, wholesome ones out there where the pacing is much slower and you're able to really absorb those moments with the father-daughter kind of dynamic.
Yeah, the one show that I feel like really encapsulated that well for me was Sweetness and Lightning, which was like half cooking show, half that. So if you like this show and it feels like that might interest you, go check it out. But I'm curious to see just what this show does for that whole style.
Yeah, I would love to also be kind of cleverly put on a little bit of a twist in that it is more comedy than sad and stuff. Because in terms of the father-daughter kind of relationship dynamic, I really, really like it more when it's light.
When it's happy?
When it's happy.
Yeah, because you're right, because father-daughter relationship, it's like, oh man, so many ways that it could go sad. But, yeah.
But this was your Tuesday slot, so it's the replacement for Hibike.
Yep.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion.
All right.
This was
a fun start. My
God.
I feel like I'm still getting a bit of a vibe for what the arc of the season will be, But the overall conflict.
She finds out that her father is a mangaka.
Exactly.
An ecchi mangaka.
Oh no. Oh God. And that is not gonna lie, that is one of the things that I've just kind of thought about with regards to some of the stuff that we do of if I end up having kids, I'll need to make sure that they don't look at any of, say, the videos where I was wearing that hentai shirt.
Whatever.
They won't find those. There would be no way, right?
But thousands of videos.
Exactly. It's needle in a haystack. That being said, there's that big fear. So, and the fact that we have Araragi as the VA for our main character.
It allows for some really expert level just voice acting in this
wonderful
moment where
gags.
The guy is having to say the most ridiculous things and oh my God, almost all of these jokes are landing for me because while I don't know as much about the manga industry in general, I very much get some of the references they're making because they actually go quite in depth into the descriptions of some of these things as to what they're talking about in the subtitles. Now, while that might be partially a bit of an issue where some of the subtitles are redundant and things like that, I'm gonna
or super fast or something.
Or super fast or something like that. The delivery and the hammed up aspect of it is very anime, is very fun.
Tokyo Ghoul and Attack on Gremlin.
Yeah. But also the assistant Ami or Amikake is basically saying you should become a Mungo. Right. That's not a thing.
Nope.
That is.
It's
I thought that was
bungo and manga.
Right.
Okay. At first, I thought she was saying because I didn't quite track with the subtitles in the moment because they were going pretty fast. I thought they were implying that the person that he talked to for advice was actually the author of the source material for Bungo Stray Dogs, and I was like, wait, what, really? But no, that's not the case. Just something different. But hey, now we understand that term and the title of another anime a little bit more.
Sure. But in the context of this, it's all one gigantic, chaotic mess of him trying to keep his daughter from finding out about this stuff, and yet, while his daughter is ridiculously smart, actually.
Yeah. It was on the Business Weekly.
Not at all cluing into what's going on, and thus fun shenanigans ensues.
Yep.
But if the characters involved are primarily just him and his daughter, plus his assistants.
Right.
I really like this dynamic because then it means that the father is actually the main character, like almost entirely.
Yeah.
Like the daughter is barely even a fully fleshed out character at this point.
Right.
She's a little girl.
Right. She's the main supporting cast, but that's it. And one of the things that's really interesting to get into when you talk about like one core anime, especially when you're dealing with dramas and things like that, or or any kind of character drama, whether
Assuming
that's the
this
focus
has
or not.
no more stuff after this.
Right. Yes, because I'm guessing that either it resolves in this season, or at the very least that the likelihood of getting a second season is very low because this does seem to be a bit more niche. But you got to move things quickly, right? You can't afford to dilly dally, and the fact that the scope of how many characters we're probably going to be dealing with in a serious manner is pretty limited. I think that'll help out a lot.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. And having them all be introduced basically like feels like right at the beginning is wonderful. So his dynamic, he changes
Right.
into his suit, then changes out of his suit, goes to go draw manga, draws manga, goes back to the spot, changes back into his suit, comes home, and
Then
spends time with his daughter.
yeah.
But over the course of this time, he has made many popular manga.
Yes.
He is not a one-hit wonder or a one-trick pony.
Right.
He might be specifically an ecchi guy.
Yeah, he might not like be so big that he can just choose to do whatever he wants, kind of a thing.
Right, exactly. And they made a little subtle kind of joke at that here for basically those mangaka who don't ever really get that popular to where they really can draw whatever they want, and that's why they need an editor to basically keep them sellable. Everything that they have is marketable. That's kind of a cool little bit in there, because there are those mangaka that we know of where they got so popular off of a thing that it was like, hey, whatever you're doing, as long as it's going to be published within these kind of parameters, we don't care.
Right, it's
Just do whatever you want.
did Yu Yu Hakusho? Yeah, we are down for literally whatever else you want to do. Like, go for it, my man.
Yeah, exactly. Will it be remotely similar to Yu Yu Hakusho? Yes. It's like, okay, yeah. Then
Cool.
Whatever.
Awesome.
Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I want to do time travel. It's like, nope, you're not, nope, not doing that.
Well,
Well, that was one of the things that they mentioned in the subtitles.
Oh, really?
One of the things that people like to do is like, oh, I want to do time travel. It's like, no.
That's great.
Just like, you do not get to do that.
Time travel is just stay away.
But I love that all these assistants each have their own like specific thing that is going to be their shtick. We have the newbie, who's going to be the one asking questions. We have the pro, who is going to be kind of giving a little bit of the rundown of things. We have the new editor, who's going to be coming in, who's got this like
sort of the main interactions with Kakushigoto.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have the one who's like, ugh, only a capitalist pig would think that way.
Right, yes, Amikake.
Yeah, I love
so far
so much.
Yeah, so far she is one of my favorite like side characters.
Yeah.
With the other one probably going to the teacher.
The teacher is wonderful.
Just the idea that it's like, yes, the teacher who's, like, yeah, all right, kids, here's what we're going to learn today. Right.
Or Rokuju.
But then she's also like, I'm a big fan of this really trashy manga, right? Because with some of the assistants, it's like they might just be putting up with him because they want to be in the manga.
His work, and they probably want to be mangaka themselves.
Sure, right. But they don't necessarily have to like his work, right?
Sure.
But they want to do manga stuff. Whereas the idea that like, no, the teacher is actually just the closet fan and is like, I know somehow, but I know that you're keeping it from your daughter. That's cool. She won't find out, but it's pretty dope, even though it's, something as simple as balls of fury.
Yeah. I love the setup, though, of how many people do know.
Yes.
And yet it's the thing of where if a new person comes into this environment, like the new editor, they won't necessarily know all the little... They won't know the errata, if you will, of
the lore.
Of deep lore that you have to go through in order to make this all work.
So
it's a gigantic house of cards that's set up to ultimately fall apart. But because this is a one-core anime, we don't know if the beginning that they showed when she's 18 years old, if that's the very end, or if that's just the end of the prologue chapter of her then finding out, and then things change. Because the OP seems to hint at there being this possibility that she gets into the whole world of manga.
Right.
And that could be where she's getting into it without him even as an inspiration, and she maybe stumbles upon him via that. Or it's after she realizes this is what his secret has been.
Right, because
But
there's
who knows?
the fact that he's keeping it from his daughter, it's like, okay, totally get that. It's a fun gag for comedy.
Right.
But if you think about it, dude,
Yeah.
you're keeping a potential really strong connection point with your daughter from happening because you're keeping this thing that's so precious to you separate. Now, granted,
Yeah.
with some of the manga that you draw, it's kind of needed, because
It's understandable.
it's
It
understandable.
might not be needed.
Right,
Because you can just not
show her
the
those.
stuff.
Yeah, right.
And you might have issues where when you're not with her,
She
who
goes
knows?
and looks through the manga stuff, and it's like, what's this? It's like, and
yeah, because I get it. She tells friends at school, "What does your father do? He draws balls of fury." What's that? I don't know, but it sounds
Yeah.
fun.
What
Yeah,
have
probably-
you been telling my children?
Yeah, it's probably a tennis racket.
Exactly,
thing,
yeah.
And then they go to their mom's like, "Can I look at balls of fury? What is that? I
Where
don't
did you
know.
hear about
it's
this?
Probably
Yeah.
like a tennis racket thing." They go to a bookstore. I'd
Right.
like to purchase balls of fury. We don't sell that here.
Yeah,
Oh, it's probably a
or
manga.
Or
Yeah.
they go up to the parent and they're like, "No, you don't want to buy that for your child."
So they would say the vice versa. They're like, "Oh, you want to buy
So,
balls of fury? Well, come to
tangent-
the back here."
tangent-
They unlock the special.
slightly uncomfortable tangent.
Oh no.
So I'm in a writing group, right?
Right.
I found out something the other day that disturbed me. Apparently, because one of them works at a bookstore, and they were talking about how their parent came in to buy the book It for their child.
And they didn't know what happens in it.
Yeah.
Wait, did you not know either?
I didn't either.
Oh no!
Dude,
it's
apparently you just have an orgy, in the end of the book.
it's a little bit worse than that.
I
Yeah.
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 But so things can happen when children are just like, oh yes, I want to do this thing, and ask questions, and parents don't necessarily know about the whole thing. So
Nope.
so
Not the foggiest clue.
you're right. And again, examples of when writers maybe get so popular that then they get away with just sure, right, whatever. Anywho, I'm not sure why I brought that up, but
I don't know either.
But
I get it. The idea
Yeah.
of your kid being one that you're so you just so want the best of everything for them, and thus when you think about them growing up big and happy, you don't want them to necessarily have some kind of
right.
unwholesome thing coming into their
Exactly.
life. But the thing is that eventually they're going to find out anyway, and they're
Right.
going to wonder why you didn't tell them, even if they understand that it was because of this thing if they were a child.
Because they would have
What
liked to share it
happens-
with you.
Right. What happens when they're 15? Mm-hmm. You know?
Right. Yeah. Like the 18 thing, that's a pretty official kind of all right, yeah,
you're
an
an
adult.
adult now.
Right, but I mean, come on. Maybe
Yeah.
I understand the idea of maybe not wanting to encourage, being no, I'm also just as dirty-minded of a person as you are, right? And
Yeah, I think it's also a cultural thing because
Potentially,
there are
yeah.
different levels of what's considered societally acceptable for children to be indulging in.
and let's to be fair, manga can get pretty crazy,
Pretty lewd.
pretty raunchy, and we don't know exactly how far his
how
manga
ballsy
goes. Yes.
his fury gets.
Right, it could just be, everything's curvy or focusing on certain things, or or
they showed us a bit where they were showing panels of the manga, and there was a part where they're like, he's moving so fast, I can't tell how many balls he has.
Oh, that's
And
right,
it was his way of
yes.
censoring it, it looked like.
yeah,
Where it was just that he blurred it so much because of the it being there, but then it also had the hard circles.
right,
that were opaque.
the black circles, yeah.
It was just like,
Oh boy.
oh yeah, just dick everywhere. Just
Yeah. So it's understandable that you might not want your child to know that you draw that stuff for a living. But oh man,
What's the one anime where the the little animal gets up to the phone and goes Manga or something like that. What
I don't
what is
know.
That? It's like some kind of comedy thing. I've only seen like that bit out of context. But
yeah.
Anyway. Okay. That's the dramatic conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And all the comedy is based in that. But the fact that they were able to string along the I saved a cat drowning in a river with
Using
my typical little ring that I used to sit on.
Which, by the way...
To go all the way to the end to create a wholesome moment where she's just like, I just wanted you to be happy. And he's like, oh, you know what makes me the happiest? He looks at the photo. What makes me the happiest is knowing that you'll grow up big and happy.
Yep. And twist.
Yep.
For a few reasons. One, just what he's saying. Two, the fact that he looks at the picture of when the family's all together.
And that
then
was when
hesitates.
he's happiest.
Right.
Yeah.
And, that you'll grow up and be... That you'll grow up and not potentially die or whatever happened to the wife.
Whatever.
You know, right? Like, that's... Okay, just all sorts of potential emotions there, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's no big deal. It's
Okay,
fine.
yep,
It's
we're
fine.
fine. We're fine here.
And then just, the whole reminder that in the OP, when she's grown up, he's not there. And
yeah, it shows the passage of time.
Yep.
He's gone at the very end.
Right.
So,
and it's like, okay. All
right.
Also, something I just want to point out. That pad that he uses, it's a very particular shape. Now, there's a possibility that he just uses that because it's comfortable. However, I want to point out that there's a very good possibility that back in ye olden days,
when he drew naked,
that he specifically needed something that would cushion himself, but also let himself have space.
Yes. For his massive balls.
Just to be free and feel the air in the wind, right, as he draws. And I love that that's not something that's stated one way or the other.
Nope.
But
the idea that his assistants at one point, specifically Aogushiji, had to deal with him drawing buck-ass nude is something I have to know. Like, pass it along to me through Discord. Is that a thing that some mangaka did or have done?
Well, here's what I will say. If you get your creative outlet done, if you're a writer and you get your writing done, it's a good day.
It's a good day. That's true.
It doesn't matter
how.
Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter what else happens. Ends justify the means. So, I absolutely buy it. Let me put it this way. If I had discovered something like that had helped me write a lot, I would have done it
without
in
hesitation.
A heartbeat.
Yep.
I would have done it in a heartbeat. So, yeah.
See, this is what I've been saying all along, Jacob, is that actually
I just need
clothes are holding us back.
Okay.
In general,
Yeah.
we as a society, should just get over ourselves.
What I'll just start doing is I'll try it out for when I'm writing, and then I'll just, make sure
I don't
the
have
door's
to go
closed
into your
and
room.
everything. And
I don't have
just
to
be
go
like,
into
yep,
your room.
Yep.
What you're doing in there, you do you, man. We're all gonna live lives our own way, and
That's
we're gonna
right.
draw ecchi manga.
You'll just be
or
like,
we're gonna
what is this on the Amazon
detective agency.
purchase history? Why is he getting a ring pad? Oh. I see.
I just have to say, though, that sequence, though, from saving the cat to the very end of the episode,
with Starbucks
was genius.
and the spells for the coffee and
brilliant comedy,
and them throwing his own manga at him and everything, and it's like, what happened? Too much to recount.
Yeah, the slight bit of the awkward thing of, oh no, a monster. That was a little bit of okay, you didn't need to do that, but all of that comedic sequence, the fact that it was all strung together in a way that
at that clip pace and
kept
everything
going and was building off of itself, and the idea that the things that the teacher said built up and foreshadowed the setup for
that kind of
miscommunication
miscommunication humor was great.
So good. I love the way in which that whole thing was also set up by the fact that the daughter misinterpreted over and over and over again the new editor's reason for being there and his function and role
Yes.
in relationship to her
Are you
dad.
a CEO? Are you a mom? Are you a...
You a TV show actor? Or,
Right.
Just going through all these things, and he's just like, these are very unique interpretations.
Yes. His daughter's smart.
Very smart.
Like, the fact that...
Hime is, she's
Like,
she's just misapplied at times, but if she becomes a mangaka,
Right.
oh my god.
like, I can't remember what it was that she exactly said, but when she was saying that she learned something from, like, the weekly business, like, talk show or something,
whatever,
and he's just like, that means you're up too late. You know?
Yeah, we're gonna be putting you to bed by that time.
Right. Yeah. Like, it felt like such a, even though it's exaggerated for the sake of the comedy, right? It felt kind of like the natural magic and surprise of being a parent.
Yes.
Where all of a sudden you're like, wow, I am absolutely blown away by my kid. And at the same time, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm not gonna question that you were watching and learning from
how
this.
are you getting taught these things?
From this business show thing, but you shouldn't be up that late, so we'll just handle it that way.
That's how we'll solve the problem.
That's how we'll solve the problem.
Yeah.
You know.
Great stuff. But
Cool.
Yeah, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
Next time.